There is a place that every human being on this planet visits, almost every single night of their lives. It has no borders you can draw on a map. It has no official government, no recorded history, and yet it is perhaps the most visited location on Earth. You have been there, last night possibly, the night before certainly, and when you arrived, you did not notice yourself crossing the threshold. Ancient cultures across every continent, independently, gave this place names. They built rituals around it. They feared it. Today, scientists call it something quieter. Hypnagogic, the gateway into sleep, and its mirror, waiting on the far side. Hypnopompic, the gateway out. 2 doorways, every night. And tonight, we are going to ask the question researchers have been circling for over a century. What, exactly, is standing in that doorway with you? You are lying in the dark. The room has gone soft. Your thoughts have started to drift, unmoored, from anything you were consciously thinking about just moments before. And then, without warning, your entire body convulses. A single violent jolt, as though the floor itself vanished beneath you. Your eyes tear open. Your heart is pounding. You look around. Nothing happened. You never fell. You were never even standing. So, what was it that your body was so certain it needed to survive? Scientists have a term for this, the hypnic jerk, a sudden, involuntary muscular spasm that fires. In the instant your body drops into sleep faster than your nervous system expects. Some researchers propose something startling, that this reflex is ancient, a holdover, a signal, they suggest, inherited from a time when our ancestors slept in trees, and a sudden loss of muscle. Tone meant only one thing: you are falling. The body, it seems, remembers something the mind has long since forgotten. But here is the detail that should unsettle you. The jerk does not arrive alone. In that same fraction of a second, your brain does not simply react, it narrates. A missing stair, collapsing ledge, a hand releasing yours in the dark. A complete, fully staged scenario, assembled and delivered to your conscious mind, faster than you can blink. Something in you is authoring these scenes, and it does this every single night, whether you remember it or not. Consider this, a phenomenon reported in nearly identical form by people who have never met, in cultures separated by oceans and centuries. You are on the very edge of sleep, and you hear your name, spoken clearly, not remembered, heard. A voice present in the room with you, calling you to get your attention. Your eyes open. There is no one there. Researchers call these hypnagogic hallucinations, and they are among the most consistently documented experiences in the sleep sciences. As the brain begins to disengage from the outside world, it does not go silent. It goes generative. It begins producing its own signal, fragments of speech, music that resembles no song you have ever actually heard. More often than almost anything else, a single word. Your name, delivered once into the dark by a voice with no body attached to it. Some of history's most celebrated minds went looking for this voice on purpose. Salvador Dali would hold a spoon over a metal plate as he drifted towards sleep, so that the instant his hand relaxed, the clatter would summon him back, just far enough to seize whatever his mind had already built in that sliver of darkness. Thomas Edison did the same, with steel balls suspended over pie tins. 2 men, decades apart, chasing the same doorway, convinced that something worth capturing lived only in that threshold. What were they trying to catch? Try this, tonight, in total darkness. Close your eyes, and simply wait. Watch what your own visual field does. When there is nothing left for it to look at. Slow blooms of color, drifting across nothing. Lattices, honeycomb structures that pulse, expanding, contracting, as if breathing. Some report fractals of impossible precision. Others report faces, strangers who never existed, forming and dissolving before they ever fully resolve. This is called a closed-eye hallucination, and it raises an uncomfortable question. Why geometry? Why, when the outside world is finally silenced, does the human visual system default? Again and again in subject after subject across all of recorded observation, to the same repeating patterns, symmetry, lattice, fractal repetition, as though beneath ordinary sight there is a scaffolding, a structure that was there all along and only reveals itself when everything else is finally cleared away. Now, the doorway on the other side, Hypnopompia, the return. Most nights this crossing is gentle, a dream dissolving like breath on glass. But sometimes, something goes wrong with the timing. You wake, your eyes are open, you can see your own room in complete ordinary detail, and you cannot move, not your arms, not your legs, not even your voice. This is sleep paralysis, a natural safeguard, the same muscular shutdown that prevents you from physically acting out your dreams, still active for a handful of terrifying seconds after your conscious mind has already surfaced. And into that gap, something arrives. A shadow standing at the foot of the bed, a crushing weight pressing down on the chest. Presence felt unmistakably in the corner of the room. Cultures with no contact with one another, separated by oceans, by centuries, by language, independently produced the same figure. The old hag, the nightmare. The original word describes a spirit said to sit upon the sleeper's chest while the body lies helpless beneath it. Different names, different continents, different eras, the same visitor. Science tells us this is explainable. A simple overlap of sleep chemistry and waking awareness, harmless, temporary, but it should give you pause. That so many, so far apart without ever comparing notes, described exactly the same thing, waiting for them in exactly the same doorway. One final mystery, perhaps the strangest of all. You wake up, you rise from the bed, you walk to the bathroom or begin your morning or answer the door, and then you wake up again, still lying in bed, having never moved, not once. This is called a false awakening, a dream so procedurally ordinary, so free of any obvious distortion that it convinces you completely. No flying, no impossible rooms, nothing to give it away. And in the most extreme documented cases, this stacks. One false awakening nested inside another, 3, 4, layer upon layer, like waking inside a set of rooms constructed deliberately to resemble the one you actually sleep in, which raises the question science still cannot fully answer. If your own mind can construct a room this convincing, how would you ever know which one you are in right now? Every night, 2 doorways, a leading in and a sending off. For most of human history, we had no word for this threshold, only stories, spirits, visitors, hags who sit upon the chest of the sleeping. Today we have names, Hypnagogia, Hypnopompia, but a name is not the same thing as an answer. You have crossed this threshold before. Last night, almost certainly. You simply did not know, until now, that it had a name at all. So tonight, when the room tilts without warning, when a voice calls your name into an empty house, when you find yourself wide awake and utterly unable to move, you will know exactly where you are standing. The only question left is what exactly is standing there with you. I can teach you. I can give you the keys to the door. It's not that hard. What you need to do is sit in the chair, focus on not focusing, drift away without becoming washed away in the tides of sleep. You do not need crystals. You do not need binaural beats. This is not meditation. There is nothing spiritual or mystical about this. This is biology. This is science. This is reproducible and consistent. With my teachings, you will see phosphenes reliably, consistently, repeatedly, and you will know what these phenomenon are. So when you see them, you will not be startled. You'll not be jolted back awake. You can sit with them, you can observe them sideways because observing them directly destroys them. My book, Echoes from Cognition's Shadow, where thought ends and something deeper begins, is the key.